Welcome to the Power of Reading Aloud with Toddlers, how to use learning through exploration for successful read-alouds. My name is Erica Maya, an early childhood education coach with Neighborhood Villages, and I want to thank you for taking the time to be here today. The agenda for today is to get an overview of the information contained in the guiding documents about reading aloud with toddlers, to learn how to find the books you need, and to introduce you to our Read Aloud Opportunity Cards. The guiding documents in Learning Through Exploration contain the following information: how the books were selected, an overview of the Read Aloud Opportunity Cards, and strategies for successful read-alouds. But before we get into it, I want to read this passage to you. I'm sure many of you will resonate with it. Reading aloud engaging books with toddlers develops a love of literacy, grows their vocabularies, builds background knowledge about the world, and encourages critical thinking. Learning words in context improves listening comprehension, which is a major building block of pre-reading skills. Toddlers who are immersed in high-quality children's literature are exposed to a solid foundation for language learning. Reading books with rhyme, rhythm, meter, and music can enhance a toddler's phonemic awareness, an important early literacy skill. Reading aloud clearly has huge benefits for even the youngest of children. How were our read aloud books selected? Books were vetted by a team of early childhood and curriculum experts for alignment with the big questions in each exploration, upholding of anti-bias principles, developmentally appropriate concepts, and rich vocabulary. In the next slides, I'll go over exactly what I mean by big questions and anti-bias principles. What are the big questions? Each exploration has a set of big questions that children and educators explore in depth over approximately 2 months using open-ended learning experiences containing play invitations, ideas for family engagement, and read aloud books. Pictured here are the big questions from the exploration Nature All Around Us. For the question, what are the different forms water can take? What are the properties of water? That can turn into exploration of oceans, lakes, ponds, freshwater, saltwater, and ice. The books chosen for each exploration are one of the many ways to explore these questions in depth. For more information on the big questions and how they are woven through the curriculum, please watch our webinar titled Unveiling Learning. Learning through exploration weaves anti-bias education goals throughout the curriculum. But what exactly is anti-bias education? Anti-bias education places diversity and equity goals at the heart of everything we do. More than a curriculum, it is a stance or a perspective woven throughout not only the curriculum, but everything else we do in the classroom, from meal times to nap times to changing diapers. It also recognizes that young children are actively making sense of social identities and biases, and that they're capable of doing so. It is relevant and pays attention to the reality of children's lives, culturally responsive and sustaining. It values and creates a community that supports and seeks to include all dimensions of human experience. It takes an activist approach to providing children with tools and language to identify and respond to bias. And finally, it acknowledges the intersectionality of social identities and the systemic impact of racism on all the other isms. More specifically, these 4 anti-bias goals are woven throughout the curriculum. Goal 1, identity. Goal 2, diversity. Goal 3, justice. And goal 4, action. How can you find the books that you need? First, see the book list in the guiding documents for ordering information. Both title and ISBN numbers are listed. Images of the books for each exploration are found in the exploration overview. One resource that is provided in the Learning Through Exploration curriculum is what we call a Read Aloud Opportunity Card. Each book highlighted in the curriculum has a Read Aloud Opportunity Card that contains key vocabulary words that connect to the big questions in the book's corresponding exploration. They also contain anti-bias and sociocultural considerations to keep in mind while reading to the children. There are opportunities to engage children in acting out parts of the book. And there are also suggested questions to ask during or after reading. Let's take a look at one of these cards together. Here is a Read Aloud Opportunity Card. In the top left corner, you'll find an image of the book. In the top right corner, you'll find the book's title, author, and name of the exploration the book is used in. In this case, the title is Bugs A to Z, the author is Caroline Lawton, and the exploration is Nature All Around Us. Here is a list of key vocabulary to focus on while reading. And next to this list, you'll find ideas for explaining the words in a developmentally appropriate way for toddlers. Next, we'll move over to anti-bias and sociocultural considerations. You'll see here that this book is about bugs. And one of the considerations to make is that some insects might be scary to some children. Knowing this, you'll want to be at the ready to reassure children that most small creatures are safe and that if they observe respectfully, the animals will leave them alone. Next, you'll find opportunities for engagement. You'll see here that one of the opportunity suggestions is to try using bug and insect figurines to complement the information. Finally, you'll see the questions to ask. Excuse me for a moment. Finally, you see the questions to ask. As you can see here, the questions to ask are, have you ever seen this bug before? And what do you notice about this page? The Read Aloud Opportunity Cards benefit both new educators who want guidance on how to structure a read aloud in general, and seasoned educators who just want new ideas. How are the Read Aloud Opportunity Cards and learning experiences connected to each other? The title of each learning experience contains an image of the corresponding book. As you can see on the left here, the small creatures learning experience has an image of the book, Bugs A to Z, on the top left corner. Educators can use this image to find the matching Read Aloud Opportunity Card, as you can see here. One other thing to note is that the key vocabulary on the Read Aloud Opportunity Card can be found on the back of the book's corresponding learning experience under the section Vocabulary to Incorporate. For a deeper dive into learning experiences, please see the webinar Unveiling Learning, the Power of Exploration. Knowing all this, what are some strategies that can be used for successful read-alouds? Have a goal in mind with regard to anti-bias principles. In the bugs A to Z example, we spoke about the example that some bugs might feel scary to children. Before you read this book to your classroom, you might want to note which children might need extra reassurance about which bugs. Next, introduce or reintroduce vocabulary connected to the big questions for the corresponding exploration. Using bugs A to Z again, the book can be found in the exploration Nature All Around Us. One of the big questions for Nature All Around Us is, what animals, plants, and natural materials can we find where we live? To explore this question, I might use the vocabulary word flying and start a discussion about bees and whether or not children have seen them flying where they live. Notice opportunities to engage in discussion. Using the same Read Aloud Opportunity Card, the question, have you seen this bug before? It might lead to follow-up questions like, where did you see it? Did it fly or did it crawl? And how about strategies for reading with toddlers in general? Be flexible about group size and time of day. Some books might be more challenging to read to a full group, and you know your group best. I remember the first time I tried to read a book where lifting the flaps was required and learned the hard way, that rather than having 9 toddlers fighting each other no matter what I said to open the next flap, I saved that book for a smaller group. Time of day is important too. For example, you might want to think about what time children get dropped off and plan a read aloud for when they're all there, even if you have to shift to later morning or afternoon. Be open to children physically exploring books. Holding books right side up, upside down, turning the pages backwards and forwards. All of this builds early literacy skills. Let's see, and pause to ask and answer questions to spark opportunities for discussion. Keep read aloud time short. Children, on average, have a 1 to 2 minute attention span per year of age, so keep that in mind when planning your read alouds. And finally, read the book multiple times and in different ways throughout the exploration to allow for deeper understanding of concepts found in the book. For example, the first time you read it, just read the pictures. The second time you read the words. And the third time you read it, maybe you can have children act out parts of the book to deepen the learning. Happy reading. Thank you again for joining us for this webinar. We hope you found this helpful as you begin to implement learning through exploration. Please be sure to visit our website to view our other webinars to support your implementation of learning through exploration.